The wind howled as a group of 4 friends, Mark, Jenny, Caleb, and Sarah, stood at the entrance of Devil's Pass, a remote mountainous region shrouded in eerie folklore. The locals had warned them about strange occurrences, but they laughed it off, eager for an adventure. As night began to fall, a thick fog crept in, swallowing the trail ahead. Unsettled, Mark felt as though they were being watched from the shadows. As they ventured deeper, the temperature plummeted unnaturally, causing the group to huddle close. Caleb joked about the ghosts of Devil's Pass, but his laughter quickly died when they heard a distant, low growl echo through the trees. The ground beneath them felt soft, like something was shifting beneath their feet. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. They stumbled upon a crude wooden sign nailed to a tree that read, "Turn back before it's too late." It was old, the wood splintered and the letters barely legible, but the ominous message was clear. Mark shrugged it off, insisting it was a prank, but Jenny couldn't shake the feeling of dread settling in her stomach. The group pressed on, despite the growing sense of unease. As darkness enveloped them, their flashlights flickered, struggling against the thickening fog. Caleb swore he saw something move just beyond the tree line, a shadowy figure too fast to be human. He blinked, and it was gone. "This place is messing with us," he muttered, but no one responded, too focused on the strange feeling in the air. A sudden crack of branches snapped their attention to the right. They shone their flashlights, revealing nothing but a thick wall of trees. "It's probably just an animal," Mark suggested, but no animal made sounds like that. Their nerves frayed, they continued forward, the once exciting adventure now laced with fear. Sarah paused, staring at the compass in her hand. "It's broken," she said, watching the needle spin wildly. Confused, they tried their phones for GPS, but none had service. "Great, we're lost," Caleb groaned. Just then, an unnatural, high-pitched sound echoed through the trees, sending chills down their spines. The fog thickened, distorting their vision, and strange markings appeared on the trees, symbols none of them recognized. Jenny felt a cold hand brush against her arm, but when she turned, no one was there. Panic rose in her chest, and she screamed, causing the others to jump. "We need to get out of here," she gasped. A strange, distant light flickered in the woods ahead. It was faint, but it beckoned them, offering hope of a way out. "It could be someone else out here," Mark said, though his voice wavered with uncertainty. They moved toward it cautiously, but the light seemed to move further away the closer they got. Suddenly, they came across an old abandoned campsite, tents ripped open, supplies scattered. "What the hell happened here?" Sarah whispered, scanning the area. There was no sign of life, only the eerie remnants of someone else's nightmarish experience. The group stood in stunned silence, the weight of dread heavy in the air. A journal lay half buried in the dirt near the fire pit. Caleb picked it up, his hands trembling as he flipped through the pages. The last entry read, "We heard the whispers again. They're getting closer. There's no way out." His voice faltered as he read aloud, and a cold gust of wind sent shivers down their spines. Without warning, a loud crash echoed from the trees, like something large moving through the underbrush. The ground shook slightly beneath them, and the air grew thick with tension. Mark shouted, "Run!" and the group sprinted in the opposite direction, their hearts pounding as the sound followed them, unrelenting. Panting and exhausted, they stumbled into a small clearing. The fog was thinner here, but the oppressive silence made it worse. "What was that?" Jenny asked, her voice barely a whisper. No one answered, their eyes scanning the tree line for any sign of what had chased them. Sarah froze, her gaze fixed on the ground. A single footprint, much larger than any human's, was pressed into the dirt. "This isn't normal," she whispered, her voice cracking. Before anyone could respond, the air filled with the sound of distant, disembodied whispers, too many voices to count, all speaking at once. The whispers grew louder, surrounding them. "Where is it coming from?" Caleb shouted, spinning in place, but there was no source. The fog seemed to shift and swirl with the voices, taking on strange shapes as though it were alive. Fear gripped them as they realized they were not alone. The ground trembled again, and the temperature dropped even lower. They could see their breath in the air now, each exhale a reminder of the cold that seemed to seep into their bones. Mark turned to the others, his voice shaking. "We need to leave, now." As they started to move, a loud bone-chilling screech pierced the air, freezing them in place. The trees around them seemed to close in, their branches twisting and reaching out like skeletal fingers. The screech echoed again, closer this time, filling their hearts with dread. Caleb grabbed Sarah's hand, pulling her as they sprinted through the woods. The fog continued to twist around them, distorting their sense of direction. Jenny tripped, falling hard onto the ground, and as she looked up, she saw a figure standing in the distance, watching, waiting. The figure vanished as soon as she blinked, leaving only an eerie stillness. Caleb helped her up, and they kept running, their footsteps pounding against the earth. The whispers returned, louder, more urgent, filling their ears with words they couldn't understand but felt deep in their souls. They found themselves back at the abandoned campsite, as if they had run in circles. The journal lay open where Caleb had left it, but now new words were scrawled across the page in shaky handwriting. "You cannot escape." Panic seized them, and Sarah let out a choked sob. Without another option, they bolted into the woods again. But this time, the trees seemed different, taller, more menacing, as if they were leading them deeper into the unknown. The fog was thicker than ever, suffocating them as they tried to find their way out. Jenny's flashlight flickered out and the darkness closed in around them. In the dim glow of the remaining lights, shadows shifted unnaturally, moving in ways that defied logic. "We're trapped," Mark muttered, his voice barely audible. No one dared to argue with him. The screech echoed once more, followed by heavy footsteps crashing through the woods. It was coming closer, the ground trembling with every step. "We need to split up," Caleb said, desperation in his voice. "It's our only chance." Reluctantly, they agreed, each running in a different direction. Alone, Jenny's heart raced as she darted between the trees, the whispers growing louder in her ears. Her flashlight flickered weakly, and she saw fleeting glimpses of the shadowy figure stalking her from the corner of her eye. "Please," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Just let me go." Mark and Sarah found each other again in a small, eerie clearing, but there was no sign of Caleb or Jenny. A strange, unnatural light illuminated the area, casting long shadows that twisted and writhed. The whispers stopped suddenly, replaced by an oppressive, suffocating silence. Out of the darkness, the shadowy figure emerged, towering over them. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and a cold, malicious smile stretched across its face. There was no escape. As it closed in, they realized too late that Devil's Pass was not just haunted, it was a trap, and they had walked right into it. The end. Or is it? If you enjoy the video and want more creepy stories, please hit like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. That's all for today. Thank you, and have a nice day.